Good morning, everybody. This is David McDonald, the GOAT, day 163 of 365, Journey to Greatness. Thank you for joining me. Happy Hump Day, or Happy Wednesday, I should say. Alrighty, we're ready to go. Morning, Liz. Dímelo. What's up, Padilla? Let's see here. All right. All right, so we're going to get into our meditation routine here. So we'll see you guys on the other side. All right, everybody, welcome back. Good morning, Auntie. How's it going? Good morning. Good morning. Thank you. Okay, so we're going to continue pushing on in our book. So I'll see you guys on the other side. Excuse me. That's good. Yes. Yes. Tell him, Napoleon. Let's get it. Damn. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Done. Another one. Another one. Another one. And wow. What a book. That marks a huge milestone. So in 5 months, we read 4 books, all of which have been absolutely amazing. Life-changing books. 4 Disciplines of Execution, fire. Spiritual Reliability, fire. Unshakable by Tony Robbins. Oh, Spiritual Reliability actually was written by my good buddy and life coach, mentor, and teacher, Richard Seaman. Very, very good book. Very awesome person. Unshakable by Tony Robbins, and now Think and Grow Rich. So congratulations to everyone out there who's recently finished a book. But be on the lookout. I have another good book coming, but I don't know what it is yet. It's amazing to experience because I know we got to get into our journaling, but it's amazing to experience because as we're reading through these books, we're learning, right? And as we're learning, we're trying to figure out ways, or things come up for us in our journaling or in our meditation. So what's the number one way to become a better person? You find a book that tailors to exactly what it is, that thing that you need, that thing that you've been thinking about, the thing that you've been writing or journaling about. You go and find a book, and then you dedicate yourself to that book. Then when you read it, by the end of it, you become an expert, or to a degree, you have a really strong understanding of where you feel about that area that you want to grow in and the subject at hand. And you get another book to talk about. So it's awesome. Congratulations. I love you. The library is stacking up over here. Awesome. Soon it's going to be like up here. Okay, so we just finished our reading routine, and now we're going to get into our journaling routine. And don't sleep on the journaling, because the journaling, we've already went through 3 books, or 2 books, 2.5 books. That's a lot of pages of writing, a lot of pages of dreams. It's a lot of pages of everything. So in our journaling routine, if you're joining us for the first time, what I like to do, or what I like to write about first, is what I'm grateful for. And in the morning, I'm grateful for waking up and having exceptional health. And so I focus on yesterday's activities, and I find my gratitude and show my gratitude through the pages for yesterday's, everything that I was able to experience. Thank you for everything, right? And then today, moving forward, I I manifest and write down what I wish to see happen today, and so on and so forth, moving forward. So if you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I'll see you guys on the other side. Good morning, Uncle. How's it going? Thank you. Thank you. Alrighty. Okay, so yesterday we talked about pretty much we just finished up with talking about the 6 major fears and pretty much how they can fundamentally destroy your life. And the reason why you shouldn't be associated with these fears, such as being, growing old, losing love of someone, losing the love of someone, poverty, death. There's a number, ill health. There's a number of things, and so now we're getting to the final segment here that says the Devil's Workshop, the 7th basic evil. And so the Devil's Workshop, it is more deeply seated and more often fatal than all of the other 6 fears. For want of a better name, let us call it evil susceptibility to negative influences. Men who accumulate great riches always protect themselves against this evil. The poverty-stricken never do. Those who succeed in any calling must prepare their minds to resist evil, which is wildly important, because that's just facts. Those who succeed in any calling must prepare their minds to resist the evil. If you are reading this philosophy for the purpose of accumulating riches, you should examine yourself very carefully to determine whether you are being susceptible to negative influences. If you neglect this self-analysis, you will forfeit your right to attain the object of your desires. So then it talks about it moving into like how to protect yourself from negative influences. And the main ones here are to the way that you protect, the way that we protect ourselves from negative influences is by creating and recognizing willpower. So people talk about very often, you got to surround yourself with people who are going to support you, right? Yeah. Okay. Talked about that yesterday also. And the way that you protect yourself from negative influences is to simply not be around them. Yeah, it's to simply not be around them. Don't expect troubles and don't expect disappointment. When you focus on those type of expectations, then that's what you usually get for yourself in reality. Then it goes into, long story short, then it goes into a self-analysis. And then it asks a few, 2 pages of questions that you should answer out loud. And after you read those, that'll be an honest depiction of the type of person that you are. And then what you do is you go back and then you reread those same self-analysis questions. You keep it real with yourself, and then you go back and you edit. You go back and you fix the pieces that you feel you're like, ooh, the answer to that question is a yes, but reality it should be a no. And then you just go about working through it that way. Hi there, love. Good morning. Okay, you have absolute control over but one thing, and that is your thought. This is the most significant and inspiring of all facts known to man. It reflects man's divine nature. This divine prerogative is the sole means by which you may control your destiny. If you fail to control your mind, you may be sure you will control nothing else. If you are careless with your possessions, let the carelessness be in connection with your material things. Your mind is your spiritual estate. protect and use it with care, to which divine royalty is entitled. You are given a willpower for this purpose. Then it talks about there being like no legal protection for your mind. The number one place, the number one thing that we must harvest at all times, all year round. The number one place, the number one thing we should feed all year round. The number one thing that we should pay attention to all year round is our thoughts. Is our thoughts, is our bodies, is our realities, and our imaginations, even more importantly. For the benefit of those seeking vast riches, let it be remembered that practically the sole difference between Henry Ford and the majority of the more than 100,000 men who work for him is this: Ford has a mind and controls it. The others have minds which they do not try to control. That verbiage is really important. The journey to greatness is about giving back to people and people giving back to themselves and realizing and coming into their highest power, their highest greatness. On the journey, as we go through these activities, we are making a conscious effort to control our minds. That we're not trying anymore. We are doing it. The difference between Henry Ford, who is the founder of Ford Motors, okay, and who made hundreds of millions of dollars and whose family's legacy lives on today. The difference between him and everyone else: Ford has a mind and he controls it. The others have minds, so they all have power, but they do not try to control it. There is no hallway compromise. The most practical of all methods for controlling the mind is the habit of keeping it busy with definite purpose, backed with a definite plan. Study the record of any man who achieves noteworthy success, and you will observe that he has control over his own mind. Moreover, that he exercises that control and directs it toward the attainment of definite objectives. Without this control, success is not possible. This book has given us every single key to be successful. I really like this next part because I talked to a lot of people, and a lot of people have a million. I think the 4 disciplines of execution, I think it was the 4 disciplines of execution says that there are 10,000 legitimate reasons for you not to go out and achieve your dream. Period. And we probably mentioned this 3-4 times in this whole journey. This same thing, repeated it. 10,000 legitimate reasons, not fake reasons, real reasons for you not to achieve your dream. But at the end of the day, the only question that has to be asked of yourself is, are you going to let that stop you? 57 famous alibis by Old Man If. 57 alibis by Old Man If. Only if I could, only if I had, only if I was. People who do not succeed have one distinguishing trait in common. They know all the reasons for failure and have what they believe to be airtight alibis to explain away their own lack of achievement. Some of these alibis are clever, and a few of them are justifiable by the facts. But alibis cannot be used for money. The world wants to know one thing: have you achieved success? Well, there you go. There you go. Have you achieved success? A character analyst compiled a list of the most commonly used alibis. As you read this list, examine yourself carefully and determine how many of those alibis, if any, are your own property. Remember, too, the philosophy presented in this book makes every one of these alibis obsolete. And I'm not going to read all of them, but let me just read a couple of them because I hear these really, really often, and I don't have, to each his own, so I don't really get into discussions about it. But, my coaching nature is guided and directed to asking people questions to help them seed and dig deeper into the real reasons why they're not being successful, right? And so thank you, Richard, for giving me that. But if I didn't have a wife and a family, I hear that really, really often. If I had enough pull, if I had money, if I had a good education, if I could get a job, if I had good health, if I only had time, that's a big one. If times were better, that's a big one. If other people understood me, if conditions around me were only different, that's a big one. If I could live my life over again, that's a huge one. If I didn't fear what they would say, if I had been given a chance, if I now had a chance, so on and so forth, all the way through. I don't even like to really say these things because it just makes me feel weird. Building alibis with which to explain away failure is a national pastime. The habit is as old as the human race and is fatal to success. Why do people cling to their pet alibis? The answer is obvious. They defend their alibis because they create them. Wow. Mind blown. A man's alibi is the child of his own imagination. It is human nature to defend one's own brainchild. We have these excuses. We have all these legitimate reasons on why we're not successful because we create them. Yeah, so that's our attachment. I go out and buy a car. Why would I sell the car? Or I can't sell the car because I went out and I bought it. Like why would I sell it? Why would I let it go? Right? No matter if, let's say, worst case happens, and you need to sell the car for whatever reason. You need to sell the car, but you can't let go of it because why? You went out and bought it, and when you went out and bought it, that those thoughts were stemmed from somewhere a deeper place, whatever it was for you at that time. So there's a lot going on. Same thing with your alibis. It's hard to disconnect from them. So the book is suggesting for most people, even that thought alone, it's hard to disconnect. It's not hard to disconnect. You just have to stop making excuses. We just have to stop making excuses. Building alibis is deeply rooted in habit. Habits are difficult to break, especially when they provide justification for something we do. Plato had this truth in his mind when he said, the first and best victory is to conquer self. To be conquered by self, of all things, the most shameful and vile. Another philosopher had the same thought in mind when he said, it was a great surprise to me when I discovered that the most of the ugliness I saw in others was but a reflection of my own nature. That's huge. It has always been a mystery to me. Albert Hubbard. Why people spend so much time deliberately fooling themselves by creating alibis to cover their weaknesses. If used differently, this same time would be sufficient to cure the weakness, then no alibis would be needed. In parting, I would remind you that life is a checkerboard, and the opposite of you, and the player opposite you is time. So we're playing life, and the player that we're playing against is time. If you hesitate before moving or neglect to move promptly, your men will be wiped off the board. You are playing against a partner who will not tolerate decisions. Previously, you may have held logical excuses for not having forced life to come with whatever you asked, but that alibi is now obsolete. It is now deleted. Because you are in possession of the master key that unlocks the door to life's bountiful riches, the master key is intangible, but it is powerful. We all have the key to greatness. The sooner we realize that, and the sooner that becomes a reality, the sooner you can start getting to your dreams, becoming that millionaire, becoming that unspoken story, becoming that voice that rose from the depths, becoming that rose that grew from concrete, giving yourself that confidence, taking that confidence back and moving through this life with an humbled confidence, of just knowing you're going to be success with your relentless desire to achieve it. Everybody has the master key, but not everybody chooses to use the master key. There's a reason why there's a concentration of wealth in this nation. And to really end it all and finish it, the price is failure if you did not use your key, period. The degree of failure is totally up to the man or the woman who has the key and is not possibly operating on it. There is a reward of stupendous proportions if you put the key to use. It is the satisfaction that comes to all those who conquer self and force life to pay whatever is asked. The reward is worthy of your effort. Will you make the start and be convinced? If we are related, said the immortal Emerson, we shall meet. In closing, may I borrow his thought and say, if we are related, we have, through these pages, met. And that's it. So, if you have not read this book yet, please, please, please go read this book. Go buy it. Bought it for $5.99 at Barnes & Noble's in the used book section. You can go on Amazon. I'm sure you could probably get a new one for $5.99. This is a great investment. I've heard about it for a long time. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to go read it. Didn't do it for years. And now I got to read it. We changed our circumstance. We changed our life. And this book has now changed our life. And it only costs $5.99. Please go read this. This book is a game changer. And if you like Tony Robbins, if you're inspired by Tony Robbins and a number of other gentlemen out there, this book, you will see, I think Tony Robbins said this is one of the fundamental books that changed his life. And this book is awesome. And you'll see some of the things that Tony Robbins says in his speeches and does in his presentation that borrow from some of the concepts in this book. So, with that being said, we have completed our our fourth book, over 1,000 pages in literature read in 5 months, spending 15 minutes a day doing it. I think that's success. So congratulations to me. To everyone out there who's read a book and completed a book from start to finish, congratulations to you. To start and finish a book is a big deal for me because, like I said before, I wouldn't read. I pause. I love to read, but I never found time to read. Only if I had more time to read, right? I never found time to read. Now that I'm reading 3 or 4 or 5 pages a day, and these books are like 200 pages, 300 pages a book per book. The simple act of turning through the pages one by one by one, all the way through from the preface or the preface to the actual book and then completing the book, that simple act is practicing the art of execution. And it's practicing the art of starting what you finished and leaving it better than what you found it. There's a lot of notes in here. But I say all that to say thank you for joining me today. And the book is right. We do all have the master key. But it's totally up to us to figure out whether or not we're going to use that master key to create a reality that is only imaginable, to create a reality that only we can imagine at this time, to create a reality that goes opposite of what we're experiencing at this time, and to believe and block out all of the distractions, push all of the negative people, all the negative energy away from your bubble or outside of your bubble. Love and care for them unconditionally, but from a distance. And just keep making that, space in between you bigger. And as you make that space bigger, you start to attract and fill that space with people who are actually going to love you, who are actually going to look out for your best interest, who are actually going to look out for you and not be based around an idea of greed. And not be based around an idea of greed. And the time will come. What I'm seeing most right now in the last months is people want to fast. People want this fast. There is immediate gratification. There is delayed gratification. But growing up, the way that I grew up, the immediate gratification was always the thing that got people in trouble. Delayed gratification is where we saw the most success and allowed us to live the best and longest days of our lives up to this point. It takes time. Start with something small. And when you start with something small, you create. You see that creation grow. It gets bigger. And you're like, wow. 1 year is not a lot of time. 2 years is not a lot of time. 3, 4, 5, 6 years is not a lot of time. This has been, boom, slammed into one like block. 10 years. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I can just say, here you go. It's not like 10 years, 365 days times 10. Take your time. Be patient. Good things come to those who execute and wait. For those who are very anxious to get started, for those who are very anxious to get ramped up, yeah, translate that energy into production. Translate that energy into uniqueness. Translate that energy into loyalty. Translate that weakness, or excuse me, that eagerness, I should say, into building yourself up, building you, investing in you. Because remember, there will become a time, and I can tell you from experience, where it's going to come so fast, you will not know what to do. And when you don't know what to do, and you're not equipped with the right people around you, and you're not equipped with the right tools, just be careful. Be careful, because everyone wants to be a millionaire. Everyone deserves to be a millionaire. But not everybody can handle being a millionaire. So take the time, invest in yourself. It costs us a total of $20 to do it, maybe $30 to do it. And we have over 5-6 months of material to feed ourselves. 20, 30, $40 to do it. And a couple gifts from wonderful people. Sit down, take the time, love yourself. Thank you so much. I hope you had the greatest day of your life. Thank you so much for joining me on day 163 of 365 with David McDonald, the GOAT. Everybody who jumped on the messenger board, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, cuz. How you doing, man? I am too. Thank you. Good morning. Everybody who jumped on the messenger board, thank you for letting me know that you're here, you're awake, you're with me. Everybody who's not on the messenger board, thank you for being here in spirit and in energy and projecting and giving me that energy to do what we do every morning and holding me to accountability of showing up for my daily choosings. And don't give up. Don't give up. Dream big as hell and know that nothing can stop you. And no one's opinion of you defines who you are. Only you know who you are. Stick with that. I'll see you guys tomorrow at 5. Peace.